Hey guys, welcome to Conversations with Shan. So, as I was saying in reference to David and Saul with this whole red and blue war, and I'm going to use the story of Saul and David. So, David was basically appointed to be king. So, he's king. He knows he's king. He knows the power that he holds. He knows his strengths and his weaknesses. And if he doesn't, he learns them. But he's a man after God's own heart. Yes, David makes mistakes, as we all do, and sins, and he has to pay the consequences for his sins. But he also knows that his calling is bigger than him, right? So Saul gets jealous. He gets jealous of what David represents, his power, how David carries himself, his strength, all of the fruits that David has, and the gifts that David has. Saul gets jealous of it, and he gets jealous of the relationship that David has even with his son, Jonathan. So Saul sets out to kill David. Now, David knows he's king, right? So David can easily be like, nah, have an ego, have pride, and be like, I'm king, so here what? We're going to fight this one out. Because if God is appointing me king, it's a losing battle for you. You know, you're cooked. But he doesn't. He goes in hiding. He hides out. Why? Because David understands that ego and pride is what gets you killed, right? A lot of what's going on with our young people today is ego, it's pride. It's feeling like, nah, I have to show face that I'm the bad man, I'm the tough guy. But too many tough guys are hitting the grave. And too many mothers and fathers are crying. And we can't re-bear our children once we've lost them. We can't bring back our children. You know, I've had a miscarriage, and I was going to name my baby Soul, you know, and the pain that I felt, and that was just a miscarriage. I can't imagine a woman that has had a baby and lost a baby, or you've had your child and lost your child, much less, you know, because I promise you I was sliding down walls and drinking it up and playing tank, and, you know, you can have these chicks and all this carrying on, because I was a hot mess, yeah. And when you are in mourning, you don't know what you will do. You know, anger, all these different emotions. You want to curse God and die. You want to do a whole load of things. But we need to stay in fruit, right? We need to stay in focus. So David flees. He hides out. You know, and eventually what happens is Saul gets killed. Even Jonathan dies, his son. And obviously David becomes king, because at the time Saul was king. But he knew that David was going to be king. But because of jealousy and hate, that's why he wanted to basically kill David and take David out, because he's like, no, I'm going to reign. But the people wanted a king, so Saul was king. Saul was king. And he had the potential to go far. But due to jealousy, hatred, pride again, and envy, and looking at someone else's gifts rather seeing the gifts inside of him, he chose to allow all those feelings and emotions to destroy his destiny. And you'd be like, where are we going with this, Shan? We're going everywhere with this. With the blue and the red. A lot of these young boys, they're kings. No, not all. No, they're all kings. No matter what color your skin, no matter whatever, you are kings. But when we allow all these different emotions to come in, and we're allowed to have them because we all do. We all feel some type of way sometimes or feel inadequate, but it's about what you do with that. When we allow these different emotions to then come in and take root in our lives, they then destroy us from the inside out. And that's why you see that friends that they were once now fouls. You want to kill your brother for a war of streets and buildings and pride and to be classed as the top boy. Look at Top Boy. Both Top Boys died in the end. Once brothers that loved each other. Same thing here, you know. Jonathan loved David. David loved Jonathan. They were brothers. But because of the jealousy and hatred of Jonathan's father, it took Jonathan, it took his dad. David still reigned as king. So my whole point here is, you got to understand sometimes it's okay to flee. Because if David did not flee from the battle and allow pride and ego to stand in the way, he would have been dead. He would never have reigned. He would have never accomplished his purpose and his dreams and his visions that God had for him. Because he would have been clouded by all these different emotions that he allowed to kind of fall upon him. And here's the thing, so many of the youth now, they allow all these feelings and these different emotions, and they watch all these different things that cloud their judgment and pollute them, and they want to act that out. But this is real life. You cut me, I'm gonna bleed. You shoot me, I die, I'm not coming back, you know. And these are the things that we have to understand, especially and install in our youth. So here's the thing now, because you lot love a good story time. So my son, the boys were meant to be coming to my son's school to do this whole blue and red and all this crap. So my son was like, the teacher heard my son over talking that he wants to bring a knife to school. And he wants to bring a knife to school because he wants to protect himself. So the teachers called me and I was like, cool. So this is what we're going to do. He needs to stay in school and he needs to do after school club. I'll come and pick him up after school. And also when he got home, when I picked him up, I had some chit chats with him and I said, listen, first thing what we're not going to do is be bringing knives to school, because that is dangerous in so many different ways. Not only can that be used against you in more than one way, but you will end up in a body bag, okay? Whether it's that day or the next time they catch you, because they're going to be like, oh, my man thinks he's bad, he's got a knife. Watch. Then we're going to see what happens, right? We've seen it out be played out multiple times. And mamas are holding their belly and crying in despair, and their children will never come back. So we can't run from death, and we can't run from what is going to happen, because that's what we've been promised, all of us. No matter how beautiful, no matter how much money we've got, no matter how much glitz and glamour or whatever we think about ourselves, we are promised death, right? So don't let it come before it's time, though. So this is this. So I told my son, listen, well, you ain't doing that. And now we know you need to be staying in school till I come and pick you up from school. You know, we need to get you into clubs. We need to get you into stuff that will clear your mind. And this is what a lot of the youngsters need. We need new youth clubs need to be open. And if they ain't going to do it, we need to do it. We need to create youth clubs. We need to create a space for our youth to go to and feel safe and feel protected. And we need to heal our youth. We need to speak to our youth, and we need to tell them that you are King David right here. Don't allow the souls of this world to come in and give you an identity that doesn't belong to you, all out of hatred and jealousy. And then if you take that on, You want to fight a battle that you don't belong in, and then you mess up your destiny. It's about staying in alignment with the things that are going to save you, and that you don't have to have regrets. So many of us are carrying regrets because of pride, you know, because of a feeling, oh no, I can't have this, my man trying to diss me and blah, blah, blah. We've all done it. We've all been there. But, and it sounds good to idiots watching and thinking, yeah, my man's tough. No, no, no. The toughest soldiers are the ones that understand that, you know what, there's a battle at hand, but we need to be technical with how we go about it. We have to have vision, you know, we have to have strategy, right? We have to have a cause for the fight. And the only thing you should be fighting for as youth is your life. And your life has meaning because you are King David's, which means being in school, being in after school clubs, finding things to do where you are, whatever your hands, the Bible tells us whatever our hands can do, do. Find something positive to do, whether if it's painting, drawing, you know, if you're going to rap, you know, do rapping, but rap in a positive way, where it's not about killing and shooting and stabbing someone's grandma and finding ops, where we're rapping about love and light, you know, and things that are going to pour life into one another. Rap about how you love your brother, how you want to hold up your sister, you know. Let's rap about things that are going to hold us together, not tear us apart, you know. If there's anything that I could leave you guys with, like I said, it's that we need to now find a space for our youth, you know, where we can open up youth clubs where the children can go to, where they can feel safe, protected. Pardon me. They also need to be in church, furthermore, you know, where they, and find something to do in the church, you know. You can rap in church, you could do your acting, you could do anything you want to do, you could do it, but do it in a place that's gonna keep you safe, you know. Instead of going on the roads, get an after school job, you know, a part-time job where you, as soon as you finish school, you're going straight to work.